are one of the most entertaining form of media ever, they oftentimes will require another level of, well, entertainment value to keep the person interested. And that oftentimes can come in the form of Easter eggs. Is this the type of humor we're going for in this video? Okay.
But in all seriousness, Easter eggs can honestly come in all shapes and sizes, but the one thing that they always have in common is the entertainment value. It doesn't matter if it's comedy-based, referential, or even frightening, it doesn't really matter. It can all be classified into different levels of enjoyment, and I'm here to count down what I consider to be the absolute best of all these qualities. Now, as you probably know, both Will and Media Master both have pretty much milked this cow dry, so unfortunately I cannot place in the none of theirs rule because it would be almost impossible. But I can promise you that I'll try to keep this as original as possible. But like I said, I'm pretty much guaranteed to include some of theirs. Now, for the dreaded part, the rules! The only real rule concerning this list isn't really a rule. Wow, that's irony! The only kind of rule is that there's nothing to be left out here. It doesn't matter if it's a terrifying Easter egg, it still qualifies if I found some sort of joy out of it. So yeah, stuff from horror games will be included. So, get ready to laugh, cry, scream in terror, and scratch your heads in wonder, for these are the top 10 Easter eggs in video games. You know, this was actually one of the hardest decisions to make regarding this video. A lot of the Easter eggs on here are really fascinating, and they all really deserve to be placed high up on the list, but I finally decided that it should be something kind of simple to justify its placement. So I guess it's totally fitting that I did the complete opposite. First, let me start off by saying that A Link to the Past is one of the most entertaining Zelda games as a whole. It had many innovations that overall helped to make it one of the greatest gaming experiences to ever be put on the SNES. And actually, its sequel wasn't half bad either. Oh look, a butterfly! Damn it, ADD! But I should get back on topic. Link to the Past is widely regarded to be one of, if not the best Zelda game in the franchise, and rightfully so. It also happens to contain one of the most complicated and fascinating Easter eggs I've honestly ever seen. This can all be traced back to the days of Nintendo Power, with one of its many contests. You see, Nintendo Power was infamous for often making contests that its many subscribers could enter. These range from a tropical vacation to being an extra in The Mask 2. Wow, that's a fucking ripoff. One of the most interesting ones that probably was ever conceived and put in was the offer to be in a Nintendo game. Imagine people surprised at this. Nintendo was the next best thing just after Lucky Charms, so being in a Nintendo game? That's mind-boggling. The winner of this particular contest ended up being a teen by the name of Chris Houlihan, and I can just imagine his joy. Now, I'm willing to bet that Chris thought his likeness was going to be placed in some kind of throwaway game that no one would ever play, like The Adventures of Gilligan's Island. But his sentiment was much bigger than that. He was actually placed into A Link to the Past. Well, not him per se, a more room with a sign that says it's him. Cause that's just as good! But the way you find this room is actually pretty interesting. How is it? Well, it's a lot of well-placed dashes. Yeah, look, it's not actually very well explained, but I can't describe that feeling of actually finding the place. If you have a copy of A Link to the Past, the real version, because this shit wasn't on the GBA, then you owe it to yourself to find this. Look up on the internet how to do it, I don't care, but you need to do it. I'm promising you, you won't regret it. And, wherever Chris is today, I'm sure that it's an honor to have this in for him. Wait, he's dead?! One of the most interesting indie games ever made has got to be Braid. Braid centers... I totally know this game! To be honest, guys, I haven't actually played this in quite some time. But I do know that it has one of the most interesting and unique Easter eggs ever made. And actually, the way to unlock it is rather ludicrous. No, goddammit, get that out of my face! Much better. The way to unlock this little gem requires you to collect all of the puzzle pieces, thus 100%ing the game. Then you go to the ending level of the game where... Oh, hang on. Spoiler alert! It is revealed that you were actually the bad guy the whole time, because you played in reverse, which is one of the main mechanics of the game, and it is revealed that the princess is running away from you.
Am I the only one that feels like there should be something in the Stanley Parable?
Anyways, as mind-boggling as this is, it's actually not what we're here for. what you want to do is actually catch the princess, which takes a lot of trial and error, and a lot of going backwards. But it's all worth it when you finally reach her where she explodes. Oh, that explains the title screen! But the reason this is interesting is the backstory surrounding it. See, the developers designed this version of the ending as a reference to the atom bomb. The whole mechanic of going back in time represents the creators of this infamous bomb, how they all wanted to go back in time and stop it from happening. Now all they need is a pixelated Dr. Manhattan and the whole thing would be complete! But honestly, the thing that makes this whole ordeal interesting is, as I said, the whole story. Braid is such a calming and unique game. To think that it holds such an admittably creepy secret, it's just mind-blowing. I could honestly talk about this all day. That's how intriguing it is. I just don't know what else to say but this.
You have my respect, Braid. You've earned it. In fact, I think I'll play it now. It's been a while since I've seen the nuke. Okay, let me just... Damn it! Oh, I need to continue with the video, don't I? Yeah, I probably should. Just gotta get this last piece.
What can be said about Metal Gear Solid? Well, it's one of the most successful series in the world, has brilliant mechanics, and has made almost no mistakes in its lifetime. You know, besides the obvious ones. Insert Ground Zero's joke here and here. But in all seriousness, this is by far one of my favorite series ever. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. Now, if any of you are fans of the series, which you probably aren't because that's very common in people since it's just so obscure, then you'd also know that one of its best features is the many Easter eggs hidden throughout the whole games. And the thing that makes it so interesting is the fact that these games have been spread over so many different consoles. It's been on Nintendo, Sony, and even Microsoft once, I think.
Although, I am quite an idiot, so I wouldn't quote me on that.
But I believe that the best ones come straight from the big S. Wait, no, I didn't mean it like that! Specifically, Snake Eater. Have I told you how much I love this game? Because I do. The story was really intriguing with an added plus of some of the best gameplay to ever come out of the series. Also, with my version, you could play it on the shitter! And they said the Vita had nothing good on it. Oh yeah, and it has Kermit on it! Cause that's the Easter egg! What is this, you may be asking? How is this even possible, and what is it doing in my Metal Gear Solids? Well, hidden throughout the game are mini Kermits just staring at you. I'd be lying if I said it didn't creep me out a little. But the reason I love this little frog so much is just imagine Kermit running around the world of Snake Eater. One of my best lines and one of my worst countdowns in top 15 urban legends. I said, because imagining is more fun than seeing.
Just not in the context I used it in. God, that was a stupid video.
But in a game like Snake Eater with so many serious elements and story segments, it's nice to find something that brings comic relief. You know, if a guy that can control bees didn't do that enough. Oh, they're gonna nuke someplace? Don't feel sad. Kermit is going to make you feel better.
It's been to carry it out. Her death at your hands was a duty she had to fulfill.
Somebody get some flowers, somebody get a ring, somebody get a chapel and a choir to sing.
Her country. She sacrificed her life and her honor for her native land.
Somebody get this wedding.
Patriot.
Somebody's getting married today.
And we arrive at our first scary Easter egg. But I mean, it can't be that bad. It's only number 7. And hey, it's even from Nintendo. What could they possibly put out that was really bad? What the fuck, Nintendo?
Oh yes, we've arrived, haven't we? No one can deny how terrifying and just fucked up these pictures are. These guys come up every time the Game Boy camera had an error of some sort. Well, there is one exception, but we'll get to that later. So, let's go through each one, shall we? This job is so fun! First up, we have this little guy. Just take a good look at him. Notice anything weird about him? Like the fact that his eyes are missing! He also seems to have the ability to defy all physics with his floating hair. This one isn't that bad, but the next one is, oh sweet Jesus, what the fuck is that? This one looks like he has a bad case of 5 o'clock shadow, and also has a flower for some reason. I don't know why, but that flower really disturbs me. It just stares into your soul, never stopping. Stop it! Stop! But I always remember the last one being the worst. What was it again? What in God's sweet name of honey with a cherry on top is that? Oh God. Okay. I don't know what Nintendo was thinking when they made this monstrosity from the underworld. This looks like something out of Hellraisers, but more terrifying. Seriously, Pinhead doesn't hold a fucking candle to this thing. It looks like it either had a bad makeup job, or that's the blood of its victims. And honestly, with a fucking pentagram on its head, I wouldn't be surprised if that's what it is! This one also seems to be completely breaking any fragments of the fourth wall left by straight out giving you a message. Who are you running from?
Do I even need to tell you why this is creepy? Look at their faces, look at their designs, look at their Nintendo symbol!
Actually, now that I think about it, this doesn't surprise me anymore. Nintendo, you truly are creepy motherfuckers. Except for Reggie. My body wasn't ready for this. Yeah, screw you too. I honestly think that music is an integral part of any game. Some of the worst games in existence can be sort of redeemable if it has a catchy soundtrack. But of course, we wouldn't have music if it weren't for the composers. Now, I'm not going to lie, music is a very hard business to work in, because you're constantly being critiqued, and a good chunk of the time it's by me. But honestly, I think that one of the best people for video game music you can possibly get is Nintendo. More specifically, Totaka. Yeah, I didn't know his first name. Sorry. Now, Totaka has worked on dozens of games for Nintendo, and in each one, I have to say, the music is pretty damn good. And in each of these games he's worked on, he's hidden a little 18-note song that can be accessed by doing various tasks. Quite a few of them require you to wait on a certain screen, but it can vary. This can be with things like waiting on the game over screen on Super Mario Land 2, to waiting for a few minutes on the control scheme for Luigi's Mansion. It can be different though. One example of an interesting one can be seen in the Game Boy game X. If you fly over to the Mad Scientist shop and once again wait for 2 minutes and 28 seconds, the song plays. But I think my favorite iteration of this little tune can be found in Animal Crossing. Now, to be honest with you guys, I didn't really get into Animal Crossing until New Leaf came out last summer. But as soon as I started playing, I was hooked. And after I played that, I went out and got the rest of the games. But New Leaf still remains my favorite, as biased as that may be. But we're not here for my history with the game, we're here for this dog, KK Slider. KK is by far one of the most laid-back dudes I've ever met, and for good reason. He's actually based straight off of Totaka, and so he will play a lot of songs he's composed over the years. But what you want to do is go up to him and request him to play KK's song. And of course, the song will immediately play. However, the reason this is one of my favorites out of so many is that simply because, well, look! He's a cute little dog, and he plays the guitar! So cute! I don't know if it's my soft side coming out or something, but this melts my heart. Also, to hear it played on a guitar is really nice. I need to learn guitar, because then I'll get all the bitches. Like this one. What? Isn't that the type of bitch you were talking about? Ah, what am I saying? Of course it is! Oh, Val, where would we be without your silly antics? We wouldn't have so many phenomenal games, wouldn't have the wondrous world of TF2, and surgeons wouldn't be so rich from surgically unattaching fans' noses from Gabe Newell's ass. I don't know how to sing Valve's praise any more than anyone has already done, so I'll just say this. Valve made Steam. Your arguments are invalid! I think my favorite game series from Valve, besides Team Fortress, is Portal. Oh, Gabe, you brilliant man! I could play Portal day in and day out, and sometimes I literally will. And honestly, there are a great manner of Easter eggs here to choose from. And for a while, I was going to poke the cake as a lie. I mean, come on guys, it spawned like a bajillion memes.
But then my sense of originality kicked in. I know, It's amazing. But I managed to remember this. So, it was kind of obvious from there, wasn't it?
So, Ratman! What's to be said about the rather peculiar Ratman? Well, let's start with the basics. All around the world of Portal 2, you can find nests of this guy. Now, the story goes that Ratman worked at Aperture Science before GLaDOS took over and killed everyone. He was also the one who selected Shell to be the primary test subject in Portal 1. But no one actually knew about this guy until Portal 2 rolled around. There, Ratman has gone completely mad due to the fact that the only person he had for companionship is, ironically, a companion cube. And get this, the cube's name is Jim. It's Jim the Companion Cube. Real sci-fi element right there! Well, there are actually several parts throughout the game where you can find the before-mentioned nests, and a few of them hold dark secrets. In several of them, there are drawings plastered on the walls of Shell and the adventures she's gone through. But to me, the creepiest is the last one. This one can be found right before the final boss with Wheatley. Once you go in, you'll be horrified. It may appear to just be regular at first, until you go into a corner and hear... You can hear Ratman chanting incoherently to himself. If you listen closely, you can almost understand what he's saying. But it doesn't stop there. As soon as you leave the nest, the door shuts behind you, and the portals again will no longer work. Many have speculated what this means, but I believe I know. Ratman is still alive and, well, not well, but alive, and is trapped in the facility. Hell, you can see him in the opera scene if you look hard enough, but that can only mean one thing. When you escape the facility at the end, Ratman is still trapped. This whole time, Ratman doesn't get his freedom.
Well, that's a downer.
Mario! Mario! Mario and Luigi. Don't forget Luigi. He's the green one! And he has an L. This is different! Oh, and this Easter egg's from Super Mario 64! And it has... Yahoo! You know, I don't hate Mario 64. In fact, when I said I hated it, I hadn't played it in months. So, I didn't really make any real fair judgments. In fact, I'm going to disprove everyone right now. 1. Not realistic. Really? Really? Since when is Mario, a game about killing a giant fucking turtle, realistic? Disproved! 2. The controls and camera suck. You are using a Mad Cat. Did you expect the controls to be good?
Oh, wait, you serious? Let me laugh even harder.
Disproved! 3. It doesn't hold up as well as people say it does. Yeah, the N64 was created in the 90s. Of course it won't be up to today's standards. Disproved! So, with that out of the way, let me just say this. I still don't believe that Super Mario 64 is as good as people say it is. However, going back and playing it recently with a decent controller, I can agree to one thing. I do like this game, and I can see how revolutionary it was. Happy? Good. Now, stop spamming my fucking comments with it! Now, let's get down to business. This is another egg that requires you to 100% the game. You must get all 120 stars and complete all the Bowser battles. Then, a previously unopenable hatch outside the castle will open to reveal a cannon. Use the cannon to blast up where you will see Yoshi! This is brilliant! Many people have been missing this little dinosaur, and unfortunately, you can't actually ride him. But you can talk to him, and he'll ask you where you've been. Oh, you know, around. One of the reasons I love this so much is because of the fact that it's probably what led to Yoshi being an actual playable character in Mario 64 DS, and that was a load of fun. But the best part about this is that Yoshi gives you 99 lives when you talk to him. The only downside is that they go away as soon as you reset the game, but it's still really cool. And so, to close us out, here's a little Yoshi humor from Team 4-Star.
Hey Piccolo, mind if I ask you something?
What is it?
You're not human either, right?
Yeah?
And your dad spit you out as an egg, right?
What about it?
Are you a Yoshi?
Yes, Goku. I'm a green f***ing dinosaur.
Can I ride you?
Gets me every time. I don't think anyone can deny how much of an impact the Star Wars series has had on cinema. In fact, I used to have a whole video explaining this very topic, but I deleted it because it was shit! So I'm here to do a better job. Star Wars came from the brilliant mind of George Lucas, and it came from his pen as well. It honestly baffles me how one man could create such an intricate story. I love everything about Star Wars. Lightsabers? Yes. Awesome battle scenes? Yes. The prequels? Oh, fuck no! So I guess I don't like everything in Star Wars, but nearly everything. And one of the best game adaptations of Star Wars is The Force Unleashed. Now, I'm not going to say my thoughts on The Force Unleashed 2 because there's already enough controversy on my channel. So instead, let's look at the wondrous world of the first one. Force Unleashed came out in a time when there weren't that many good Star Wars games besides things like KOTOR. I mean, sure, those were some fucking awesome RPGs, but my type of game is more action-based. So then this comes along and holy shit, look at the lightsabers and the battles and the pew-pew! This is the type of Star Wars game that I think everyone has wanted to play at some time. I'm not joking in the slightest. If you have a craving to feel like you're really a Jedi, this is the game for you. The lightsaber controls are fluid, the story is pretty damn good, and it's overall one of the best gaming experiences I've ever had the pleasure to play through. But enough ass kissing. We're here for the Easter egg. And oh boy, if they managed to make the Easter egg awesome as well, this game will be perfect. Dear Mother of God, this game is legendary! Yes, if you go to a certain level, you can see Jar Jar Binks frozen in carbonite. I'm guessing this is George's way of saying, yeah, I know how terrible the character was, so enjoy this! I honestly don't know what to say here. George has officially become a god. He gave us the one thing we wanted most to happen to Jar Jar. Now, if it was me, I would pick something along the lines of having a skull on a wall, or a grave that literally says, "Here lies Jar Jar, the annoying fucker." But since this game is being marketed towards kids, I'd say this is a pretty good substitute. Now, if only LucasArts would make Force Unleashed 3...
Disney. You fuckers! What was possibly going through your head that made you think this was a good idea? You own Star Wars now! Why wouldn't you use that license? It's gold! God, I've had enough of you! Well, I'm sure they didn't cancel any of the Star Wars games, right? Right? God damn it, Disney!
Fallout is by far one of the most fascinating experimental series ever conceived. Developed by Bethesda Studios, it's sort of like the Elder Scrolls with guns. But the thing that sets it apart is the fact that it's set in a post-apocalyptic world after a nuclear war. And I'd be lying if I didn't say it was a damn fun time. And as Will mentioned in his Easter egg countdown, it's home to a bunch of Easter eggs as well. Oh, and Will, that's Nixon. And he was a president. So, for guessing right, here's an internet cookie! But in my opinion, the best Easter egg comes from Fallout 3. It's pretty hard to find due to the fact that it randomly spawned each time you play the game. And from a distance, it looks like just a door. But going into that door Wait, what did that say? Oh, fuck you two! This is a door that Bethesda hid for no real reason other than fuck with the person who's playing the game. But why do they have to be such jerks about it? I mean, seriously, who gets off by putting something like this in a game? Well, to be fair, the same type of person that puts it at number 2 on his list. I'm really sorry, but I can't elaborate on this. It's literally just a door that says, fuck you! What am I supposed to say? Bethesda, you're such jerk faces! I'm gonna tell on you! And he did. He went and told like the little bitch he was and got Bethesda a spanking. But honestly, isn't that what everyone wants out of life? I think so. This has been Morgan Freeman, reporting from Top 10 Easter Eggs in Video Games. I just earned another freckle. Easter eggs in video games can be broken down into many categories, but the one that intrigues me the most is that of the reoccurring Easter egg. You know, a type of thing that appears in multiple games. That is the case with this last one, and I really consider it to be the best. First, let me say that Lost was one of the most intriguing television shows ever to be put on screen. With director J.J. Abrams, you really can't go wrong. And it wasn't any different here. Abrams managed to find a way to push the limits of technology that was available at the time of Lost production. And it just so happens that Lost is referenced in multiple video games, spanning over several different consoles and companies. It seems that a lot of people were into the show. One of the most creative ones is in Call of Duty World at War. Now, let me get something straight. I don't like Call of Duty past World at War. After this one, it just seemed like they were not trying as hard. But to me, the gems of the franchise are Modern Warfare and World at War. Now, with that out of the way, in a certain map of zombies, if you go over to a specific switch and pull it, the numbers from the infamous hatch will appear on the screen. And yes, it's the same. The numbers can also be found in such games as Duke Nukem Forever, Half-Life 2, and Fallout 3. The hatch can also be found on a level of X-Men Origins Wolverine. You can also find Hatch Wheel in the shooter's Singularity. But I think the most infamous and remembered Easter egg surrounding Lost can be found in Just Cause 2. If you fly over to an island, there are various references to the show that can be found. These include the wreckage of the plane, the search sign, the hatch, and the smoke monster. The only weird part is that the smoke monster isn't a monster, it's just a guy. Also, if you happen to fly over this island in a plane, the plane will explode as a reference to the opening scene of the show. As you can see through all of these eggs, Lost really did have a significant impact on television, and surprisingly, video game history. And I really hope that continues for a while.
I'm Blackish Butler, and am I the only one that thinks it's really ironic that you can get better Lost references in other games than in the actual Lost game? Seems like irony is a bitch. No, not